Iran, but ये देखो इधर देखने के
Oh fuck. ऐसी चीजें मत दिखाया करे। Hello. 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 Okay. Okay. Is my voice audible? Can you reply with yes or something, Yara? Okay. If my voice is audible, just reply with yes, Yara. Okay, thanks. I think let's start. Not many people have joined, but uh, I'll be just telling you all the concepts of data, and I'll be telling you all the concepts of data types, operators, and data structures. Uh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me see for a minute. Like, how can I hear your voice? I think I'll have to invite or do something like that. So yeah, let me see if you can join. I'll ping you a link on Slack, Yara, and maybe try joining from that link, and so that I can hear your questions. So yeah, I pinged you a link on Slack. Please try to join that link, and so that I can hear all your doubts and all. I think I'll have to share this link with everyone. So let's try. If you are able to join, then I'll maybe try to add other people too. Okay, Yara. Then it's fine, but yeah, still, if you'll be having some doubts, I think it'll be easy for you to maybe ask me. Uh, okay. So, yeah, mm, let's. But still, like, I'll be teaching you things, and if suppose at that same time you have a doubt, I don't. Okay, okay, sure. I'll help you revise the data structures. So yeah, I was just saying. So suppose if you have some doubts in between, so at that same point you can ask me things. So if your voice is audible to me, I think it'll be easy for both of us maybe to be in sync, and I can solve all your doubts. So yeah, maybe you can try if you want to join through Slack. So I have pinged you a link. Maybe you can go online on Slack and try to join this Hangouts call. So I can also see if you're able to join, and I can hear your doubts there. So can you try that if if you want to? Otherwise, you can tell me. You can like confirm me on the chat or on Slack if you are able to join or something like that. Yeah, but I think maybe you can just visit that link, like click on that link through Slack. Yeah, so you can click on that link through Slack, and maybe we can see if something comes up at the same time, or some web pop up or something like that comes up, and if you are able to join. Like, I think it'll be on your part. So I haven't tried this before this webinar. So maybe you can like try to visit that link and see what happens, and if you can join that together with this webinar or something like that. Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. So I just want this so that it's easy for you to ask me questions. So I think others haven't joined. I don't know why. So like you are only there, and it's fine. I'll try to. So it will be, I think, better for you also. So you can ask all your questions, and I'll uh, just give all of my time for your questions only, because I think there's no one else, and we can think on all your doubts. So yeah, it'll be good for you to revise data structures, and some other things I'll be teaching about data types and operators. So yeah, that's what all will happen in this webinar. So yeah, I just want to know, like, if you can join the Hangouts link or what happens, so that if it's feasible, it'll be good. I can hear your questions. Otherwise, I don't know, we'll have to do some like through chat only. You can ask a question. So maybe that thing can happen. Do ping me on Slack, or maybe on chat itself on YouTube, so that I know if you are able to join the link, or we'll just start like this, and we'll see if your questions are handled, or at the end of the webinar you can ask me your questions. So yeah, we'll do that way if you're not able to join the Hangouts link. Yeah. Okay, Yara, I'm thinking to start. So can you ping on YouTube if I should start? In the meantime, you can try joining the Hangout thing. And if there's, yeah, so like in the meantime, you can start, try joining the Hangout link. Otherwise, I think I can start. So, yeah, so just ping me on YouTube if you are online and we can start it. Hello, hello. Am I audible? Is this Junior who has joined the call? Okay. So yeah, let's start the webinar. Uh, yeah, anyone just ping me on YouTube website if it's fine to start. So yeah, someone has joined through the second link. I request you to join through the YouTube link also so that you can see the videos, the webinar. Uh, so
Can you hear me?
yeah. Who's this?
Uh,
This is Junior, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Junib, can you join the YouTube link which I have sent before the this Hangouts call message?
5:32. The
Uh,
YouTube.
yeah. Okay, I'll ping you the link again, Junior. Uh,
Okay.
so you can see a link for the webinar I have shared in the Slack group. Can you join that? It has LPS at the end of the link.
LPS. Yeah.
Yeah, can you join that, please? Like, is it
Um.
possible to simultaneously do that? I am also not sure.
Yeah. I'll use my laptop.
Yeah, maybe through your laptop you can like visit that link and yeah. Oh, I don't know like how. So it'll be like you'll have to see the screen through the YouTube website, and I think you can hear to my voice through this call. So I'm not sure how this happens. So I'm also trying it the first time. So
Yeah.
you can try that, or we'll see in the call how we are able to do it. So Yara is
Oh.
also, I think, there in the call, sorry, in the webinar, and she'll also be there seeing the webinar. So I think you two
We'll
are
see in
there.
the call how we are able to. Yeah.
So Yara is also, I think, there in the call, sorry, in the webinar, and she'll also be there seeing the webinar. So I think you two
We'll
are
see in
there.
the call how we are able. Yeah.
So Yara is also, I think, there in the hello.
Sorry, in the
She'll
webinar.
also be there seeing the webinar. So I think you two are there.
Yeah.
So Yara is also, I think, there in the hello.
Oh. Mm. Mm.
Junab, can you see the chat? Is my voice echoing or some problems are going on?
Oh, could you please say again?
So I am saying like, is my voice
Yeah.
echoing or some problems are happening?
Oh, could you please say again?
Yeah, so I'm saying, is my voice echoing or some problems are there in the voice, or is it clear
No,
for
I
you?
can hear you well.
Okay, so like you are not able to hear any echo or some problems in the voice. Is it fine?
Yeah, I can hear your voice.
Okay. Okay, so I think there's some problem for me itself. I'm able to hear it like two, three times or something. Mm, okay. So yeah, so can we start?
Okay. Oh,
Maybe I think you don't need even the YouTube, like you don't need to visit that. So I think you can just be online on the Hangouts call, and I think that'll be also fine.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need that, but I don't know how to let Yara join it. So yeah, so you were able to join this call through the Hangouts link which I shared?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I'll ask Yara to maybe join the Hangouts link.
May I ask you some personal questions?
Uh,
Or
yeah, so yeah, just give me a minute and yeah, you can. I think you can ask, is there any problem if someone else would be online or something? Because I think some people of the group can hear our voice. Junior?
yeah.
Yeah, you can. So I'm saying like there will be some, there could be some other person also seeing the webinar. So is it fine if they hear your questions or something? Is it fine?
No, if they if they share my problem.
Yeah, yeah. If you're
Uh
okay, if they can hear you, if
yeah, yeah.
yeah, if that's
Uh
fine, then you can ask me your questions. Yeah.
okay. Like uh as I know, I have to finish Python this course in 3 months. So, but is there any way that I can extend
Yeah, so
that
yeah, as I
period?
said, so yeah, I got some replies from the Udacity support. So they were saying at the end of June, you will be getting a link through which you can extend. So yeah, but still, I'll. So they were saying like it is possible that you may need to switch the cohort. Like if you are in my cohort, you may have to switch the cohort to some other cohort, or which is maybe scheduled for July start. So I'm not sure at which time they are asking. So if they are asking like nowadays to switch the cohort or later on, so yeah, I don't know that exactly. So that's why like I've asked those people again the question, and I think soon they'll come up with an answer. But yeah, like I know you can make it extended, but not. I don't think now. Uh, so yeah, so as they have replied, so they are saying at the end of June you will get an automatic extension at the end of June, And also, it depends on your availability. If you're busy nowadays, you can also switch the cohort to a later one, and you can like ask me, and we I can ask the support like how it's all done, and we can work together on that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. Any other question you have for the time being?
Oh no, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I've asked Yara. I don't know if she'll be joining. I've asked her to maybe go to the link, but okay, she may be able to listen to all the things on the YouTube live on also. So, yeah, let's start then. Uh, okay, I'll take just a minute. Okay, so yeah, Junyop and Yara, if you are seeing it through the YouTube live link, I'll start. Okay, Junyop, is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, let's start. So, yeah, I'll be discussing. Yeah, sorry, we got a like some 20 or 25 minutes late. So, sorry for that. Actually, there were some problems, and so yeah, there were some problems in the Hangout and YouTube links. So, that's why we got a bit late. So, Junior, you can just directly ask me your questions whenever you feel like in the call. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and Yara, you can maybe I'll be asking you after some time in between if you guys have any questions. So Yara, you can ping me on YouTube live, or if any other guy is watching the video, you guys can ping me on YouTube. But when I'll be asking you guys if you have some queries, you can at that point I'll be seeing the chat in YouTube, and you guys can ask me questions. Junior, you have joined through Hangout only, so you can ask me through your voice only at the same and at any time. For others, you can ping me on chat on YouTube when I'll be asking if you guys have any doubts. So at that time, I'll be seeing the chat, and you guys can ping me there. So yeah, I'll be starting. I'll be sharing my screen. So basically, as you guys know, the content of the nano degree is quite good, and it's good enough so that you follow through all the concepts of Python and later on of AI. In this webinar, or I think in the coming webinars, I'll try to be more concentrated on the practical parts of how to code and what things. So, suppose for all the topics we have done for data types and operators, I'll be teaching you on how to like see the practical part of those concepts, and I'll be dealing with some coding and some of the good things which I have seen in some of the concepts. I'll be just teaching you those in these webinars, so that for all the content, the basic content, the YouTube Udacity degree is well enough. To increment on your knowledge, I'll be more concentrated on the practical parts, and I'll be mostly coding for you guys, and I'll just share my screen. So yeah, so I'll be concentrating more on the practical parts, and we'll go through all the concepts of data types, operators, and the data structures. So yeah, I'll be starting with the sharing my screen. So yeah, I hope you are able to see some code or Visual Studio Code's interface. Junab, can you like just confirm?
Confirm.
Yeah, like if you're able to
Nah.
see Visual Studio interface in which I'll be teaching the code.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, you can see that. I think so. Everyone must be able to see that through YouTube also. I think the same goes there. So yeah, let's start. So as I said, one of the things I want to tell you guys is generally it's not important that you maybe learn the syntax is basically the code part. So like, so suppose if I ask you maybe how to split a list based on some spaces, or if I ask you how to maybe append an element to a list, so it's fine if you guys don't remember the exact syntax, like how to write l dot append. Like if suppose we have a confusion of if we write add to add an element or to a list, or append to add that element. So many a times in your career, or maybe in your so whatever you are learning, maybe in your degree and all, it may occur that you forgot the syntax. But it's very important for you guys to know what all is available to you to apply. So basically, like, you guys should know, okay, we can append elements to a list. I know that, but okay, I don't remember the syntax, like how to write it, but I know we can append elements to a list, or we can split the list, or a string. We can split the string and make a list. So I think you guys should know those things, like what all is possible to do through code, but it's fine if you don't remember the syntax. So yeah, this is the thing which I wanted to tell. So yeah, let's try to practice some of the so let's try to practice some of the concepts. And so I'll just see if my screen is available to other guys. I'll just see for that for a minute. Okay, I think others can also see this through YouTube Live, so that works. So yeah, so I'll be starting with some of the concepts of operators. So as I said, it's fine if you forget the syntax, but you should know what all is possible through Python and through AI. Yeah, so that is the first thing I wanted to say. The next thing, I'll be going through all the operators, like the basic ones. So I'll just tell you the names, and I think you must be knowing how to use them. So yeah, we have a addition operator that is used through plus sign, as we all know till now. So I'll be asking you if you have any questions later on after a concept, and you can ping me on YouTube, or Junior, you can just tell me through a voice. So yeah, so the next operator is minus, that is used for subtraction. These are easy, multiplication, division. So yeah, some of the operators I'll just go through for the time being. So yeah, I'll suppose I just write printing of 5 with two slashes. So 2 forward slash, and I'll just write print 5 and then 2 slash and 2. So I'll just tell you, like, what is the difference between a normal 1 slash, that is our division, and this one is known as integer division. So the first one is known as normal division, and the second one we call it as integer division. So what is the difference? I'll just go through this. So as I said, I'll be just going through the good concepts which I thought you guys should be knowing. So I'll just run this. Okay, I'll hide those unnecessary pop-ups, and I'll try to run this code. So I'm using Visual Studio Code. It's fine if you're using anything else, Anaconda or something, it's completely fine. You just should have an interface to run your code, Python code. So yeah, so in this, as we see, the answer for the first one is 2.5. So as I said, this is normal division. So in normal division, 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. We all know that. And for the second one, 5 double slash 2 is basically integer division. So what this does is, so the second print statement. So I'll just write one more print statement so that you guys know it, like understand these things well. I want you guys to be really good at these concepts. So this one also, I'll just tell you, like, what the statement written on third line gets converted to ultimately. So yeah, so the third line, the line written, so the code written on the third line and the code on the fourth line is exactly the same. So yeah, if I run the code again, so what do I see? The answer for the last two print statements is the same. So basically, integer division is doing nothing. It's doing normal division and typecasting the division. So it is typecasting 5 divided by 2 to an int. later on. So yeah, so it's working like a normal division, but it's trying to typecast that normal division into an int and executing the result. So the code written on line 4 and 3 is completely the same. So basically 5/2 is ultimately getting converted to typecasting the division of 5 with 2 to an int. So it's basically that. Ultimately it's that thing. So yeah, this is the first concept I'll be telling you. So whichever doubts you have, just write it somewhere so that you can ask me when I ask for your questions. So for the timing, I'll just assume it's clear for you guys. And I'll just go through once again. So the first line is normal division. The third line is basically integer division. So that ignores the decimal part for the division. So 5 divided by 2, as we know, it's 2.5, but we ignore the 0.5 decimal thing. And we just output the result as 2, which is the result on a second line. And for the last print statement, I am just trying to convert the statement written on line 3 to another statement, which is ultimately the same. So I'm typecasting the division of 5 with 2 to an int. And I'm then printing that on the screen. So that also basically comes as 2. So yeah, line 3 and 4, the code part of line 3 and 4 are the same. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to tell you guys. I'll just see if everything is going fine. I think there are no doubts on the chat. So yeah, I'll just continue and as I said, I'll just assume it's clear for you. Yeah, so the second concept, so this is your integer division. Then there's modulo, which acts as the remainder part. So 5%2, as we know, 5 modulo 2 would be 1 because the remainder, if we divide 5 with 2, is 1. So yeah, modulo is basically, so it tells you the remainder for two numbers. So if I write 5 modulo 2, the answer comes as 1. So yeah, that's a basic operator. Still, you can ask your doubts later on. I'll revise that also if you want when I'll be asking questions. So then there's this which is basically exponential operator. So we'll just write a small print statement for both of these. So yeah, 5% or 5 modulo 2, we should get the result as. So I'll comment the other lines for the time being. And I'll just write as 5 exponential. So that's 2 star symbols. And I'll try to print the 5 raised to the power 2. So we write raised to the power 2 as 2 multiplication signs. And let's run this. Okay, I think, okay, let's see. So yeah, what is the result? For the first one, it's 1. As we know, the remainder of 5 with 2 is 1. And for the second, it's 25. As we know, 5 raised to the power 2 is 25. So these are the small ones which you must be knowing till now. So I'll just brush up from these. Yeah, one of the other questions I think which I should tell you. So this is very important question which is asked in interviews, and it's good for you guys to know that. So this will basically be related to XOR operator. So let's go through XOR operator once. So as I said, I'll be printing these lines, and I'll move on next, and let's try to do a XOR of 3 and 2. Yeah, so let's try to do XOR. I think you guys must be knowing what is a XOR operator. You can search on the net also how it works. So basically, we can write the XOR operator as this sign, which you can see on the screen. And so we can output the result. So 3 XOR 2, as we know, it should come as 1. So yeah, this is the basic XOR operator. So I can do XOR of 2 numbers, I can do XOR of 3 numbers. So it will basically do the XOR of 3 and 2. Whatever the result would be, it will do the XOR of that resultant with 1. So yeah, as I said, let's try to write this in some other way, like whatever the result of 3 and 2 would be. So suppose that's X. So this statement, which is 3 XOR 2 XOR 1, is basically we do the XOR of 3 and 2. The result is suppose X, and ultimately the statement which I've written, the code statement which I've written, that is 3 XOR 2 XOR 1 works as XOR of 3 and 2 is done. whatever the result of that is, it's stored. So it's suppose it's x, and then the XOR of x is done with 1 to come up with the result for this print statement. So yeah, let's try to execute this. So yeah, the XOR comes as 0. So XOR of 3, 2, and 1. XOR of all these three things comes out to be 0. So yeah, this is the basic XOR thing. And I'll be just telling you one more question, and we'll go through that question, and then you can ask the first level of doubts which you have. I'll ask for the doubts. So yeah, we have 3 XOR, 2 XOR, 1 coming as 0, as we can see in the terminal. So that here you can see. So we get the XOR as 0. So the question which is asked in interviews, let's try to go through that. So it's interesting. This webinar is interesting for all of us. So the question asked is, suppose a list of numbers are given to you, okay? And you guys need to tell me which number. So all the numbers of that list are repeated twice. So I'll just write. Suppose a list of numbers are given, and so I'll just say the numbers are n. So n numbers are given to us. So yeah, list of n numbers. Some n numbers are given to us, and n minus 1. So basically, yeah, so I'll tell you this. So list consisting of, yeah. So I'll explain you the question, but yeah, let me write it. Let me write it here. So consisting of n numbers are given, and n minus 1 numbers among them are repeated twice in the list. Yeah, so I'll explain you the question. There's nothing to worry if you can't understand till now. It's fine. So suppose a list consisting of m numbers are given, and n minus 1 numbers among them are repeated twice in the list. But the number which is left, so n minus 1 are repeated twice, but one number among them is repeated thrice. You guys need to tell me which number is repeated right. So I'll explain you the question. I'm just writing it so that if you guys don't remember whatever I've said, so you can just read this statement. I'll try to minimize the terminal. So, okay, I'm able to do that. Yeah. So the question basically is, okay, so the question, so let's try to avoid the terminal for some time. Yeah, I'll tell you what to do. Later on, we'll see that. Yeah. So the question is basically, suppose a list can consist of just 3 numbers. So yeah, I'll write the list can consist of, suppose, just 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3. So the example for the list is, suppose there's a list in which I have 2 1s, 2 2s, and 3 3s. Yeah, so list can consist of 1, 2, and 3. And I'll say 1 repeats twice. So I'll just say 1 and 2 repeats twice in the list L, and 3 occurs 3 times in the list. So programmatically, so like which element is getting repeated thrice. So this is just an example. I'll just give you any random list into your program as an input, and you guys need to tell me which number exactly is getting repeated more than, so getting repeated 3 times. So for other examples, I'll just say the list could be something like 4 4, 5 5, and then maybe 6 repeats 3 times, and 7 repeats 2 times. So in this, the answer should come as 6. In this list, the answer should come as 3. So you need to write a program for this. Like how you will tell me. So if I'll input any list to you guys, to your program, how your program will execute what number is repeating more than 2 times. So basically 3 times. So as I'm telling you, in the first list, the answer should come as 3. In the second list, the answer should come as 4. So how do we do this? Let's try printing some XOR answers. So suppose I do XOR of 3 with itself. So if I do XOR of anything with itself, yeah, so I'll just have a new terminal come up. Okay, let's close this. Yeah, so I'll have just a new terminal come up, and I'll just go back to a location. Yeah, so I'll just go to any. So I'll just okay. I don't know why this is coming up. So yeah, I'll just go to SD folder, and I'll go to where we have this file. So yeah, let's try to run this file. And let's see what happens. So I'll just print, oh sorry, I just comment the previous line. Let's try to run this. So yeah, so let's see what's happening. Okay, I think so I've written some answers there, which I shouldn't have written. So yeah, let's try to print the XOR of 3 with itself. So it's 0. So we can see that if I execute any XOR with itself, like 2 XOR 2, or let's print in the same line 1 XOR 1. If I do the XOR of a number with itself, the answer comes as 0. Okay, one more thing. Let's try to do this. This will be good. So if I'll try to do XOR of 0 with 1, yeah, let's see what happens if we XOR a number with 0. So let's see what happens. So the answer comes as 1, as you can see on the terminal. So if we do XOR of a number with 0, the answer comes as the number itself. So yeah, let's see some other examples. So if I do XOR of 0 with a big number, let's suppose 67. So I am assuming, or I am expecting the answer to be 67. And we can see that 67 is coming up as the answer here in the terminal. So yeah, so if we do the XOR of any number with 0, we get the answer as the number itself. Okay, so can I combine these two things? So we have two things with us till now, which we know. XOR of a number with itself is 0. As we know, 3s or 3, or 2s or 2, or 1s or 1. And XOR of a number with 0, with 0 comes as the number itself. So in this case, I'm saying 3 XOR 0 comes as 3, 5 XOR or 0 XOR 5 comes as 5, and in this case, I'm saying 3 XOR 3 comes as 0. So these are the two concepts which we have. Okay, let's try to combine these two concepts into one XOR statement. Okay, as I said, I'll just comment the previous statement. I'll just do 3 XOR 3. So as we all know, 3 XOR 3 is 0. I'll do the XOR of 3 XOR 3 with 4. So as we know, this would internally be converted to 3 XOR 3. As I said previously, it will come as 0. Then we'll do XOR of the resultant XOR, which is 0 because of 3 XOR 3. We'll do that XOR with 4. And it should come as 4. So I think the answer for this print statement should be 4. Let's try, and the answer is 4. So in this print statement, so I'll just explain this question and then you can ask me your doubts. I think it could be overwhelming at first, but yeah, I'm trying my best to help you guys learn. So yeah, so as I said, the XOR of 3 and 3 would be coming as 0. That XOR of the 0 with 4 would be done later on, and the answer should come as 4. So as you can see, XOR of two numbers come as 0. So suppose, let's try to handle our question which we have. Let's try to do XOR of the first list. Let's try to do XOR of 1 with 1. So you can see the first list, which is L. Okay, I'll write the name of the second list as LE something. So the first list, as you guys can see, is 2 1s, 2 2s, and 3 3. So let's do XOR of all those. I'll just do without a loop. Otherwise, the right way is to do through a loop. We'll see that later. So let's try to do XOR of all these things, and let's try to learn like how the XOR is going on. So let's try to think. So initially, I'll just write through comments. Initially, one XOR one will come as 0. Then the XOR of 0 would be done with. Okay, so the same way as I said, so XOR of 0 would be done with 2, that will come as 2. Then later on, this 2 will do a XOR with the next 2, answer will come as 0. Then again, 0 will do a XOR with the first 3 in the list. Then this will come as 3, and the same way it will go on. So ultimately, this 1 XOR 1 will turn to be 0, okay? This 2 XOR 2 will turn to be 0. This 3 XOR 3 will turn to be 0. And as we know, this 0 XOR with 0 itself. So as we know, we have written here, if XOR of a number is done with itself, so answer comes as 0. So suppose I do a XOR of 0 with 0, the answer would be 0. So yeah, I'll just write this here. So even if so as I said, XOR of a number with itself comes as 0. So even if the number is 0 initially, I'll do XOR of 0 with 0, the answer would come as 0. So as you can see, this turns to be 0, this turns to be 0, and the XOR of this whole statement, that is 0, XOR 0, that also comes as 0. So this whole statement turns out to be 0. Then we'll do XOR of 3, XOR 3, which is again 0. This 0 with XOR being done of this 0 with the previous 0 of this whole statement, that will also come as 0. So ultimately, I am just saying this whole statement, the XOR of this whole statement would come as 0. And then, as I said, if we do XOR of a number with 0, it comes as the number itself. So ultimately, the answer of this whole statement would come as 0 XOR 3, which would be ultimately 3. So as you can see, doing XOR of all the elements of such a list, we just get at the end the number which gets repeated 3 times. So yeah, it may not be that clear for you guys. I may have rushed through the concept, but I'll again tell you through the second list which we have. So as we know, we have the second list as 2 4s, 2 5s, 3 6, and then 2 7. So let's try to do XOR of these. 4 XOR 4, that should come as 0 as we know. Then we'll do 5 XOR 5, that should come as 0. Oh, sorry. Then we should do 5 XOR 5, then we should do 6 XOR 6, XOR 6, and then we should do XOR 7 and XOR 7 ultimately. So yeah, I'll just write a tree for this so that you are able to grasp the concept. 4 XOR 4, as we know, XOR of a number with itself is 0. And then we do XOR of 0 with the first 5, that comes as 5. Then we do 5, this resultant 5, and XOR of this with the second 5, which will again come as 0. Then we'll do XOR of this 0 with again 6, the first 6, that'll come as 6. And so on, it goes till the end, and the answer would come as 6. Because ultimately, let's try to understand. This XOR of 4 with 4 is 0. XOR of 5 with 5 is again 0. XOR of first 6 with second 6 is again 0. And the XOR of 7 with 7 itself is again 0. So all of these, the XOR of all these things comes as 0. But the number which is left is 6. So at the end, the XOR would be done of 0 and 6. That's why the answer will come as 6. So yeah, I'll go step by step. So the first step would be XOR of first 2 things would be done. That will come as 0. XOR of 5 and 5 would be done. That will come as 0. XOR of first 6 with the second 6 would be done. That will again come as 0. Then for the timing, let's ignore the third 6. And then again 7 XOR 7 would again come as 0. And if we do the XOR of, I'm just writing a tree structure so that you understand how this print statement is getting converted to other statements internally. So at this point, 0 XOR 0 would again be 0. Then we'll do XOR of 0 and 6, that will come as 6. And then there's one 0 left, we'll just write it like this. Then again, I'll continue my tree structure. 0 XOR 6 would be 6. Again, we'll do XOR of that with 0. And ultimately, the answer, because of doing XOR of a number with 0, is the number itself. So answer will come as 6. So ultimately, our answer should be printed as 6. So yeah, let's try to execute. And we get the answer as 6. So what is 6? Why is 6 coming the answer for such list? Because it is getting repeated 3 times. So if someone asks us such a question that how do we execute these things, and how can we tell the number which is repeated more than 2 times? So the XOR, doing the XOR of whole list, we can come up with the answer of which element is the one which is getting repeated more than 2 times. So yeah, so XOR is very beneficial in this question, and we get the answer of this. So I'm not sure if you felt I rushed a lot, but yeah. So can you tell me what if you have any doubts, Yara or whosoever is in the call, and Junior? Can you tell me if you have doubts? If you didn't get this, please tell me. Okay, Yara, I can see that XOR is clear for you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Yara, we should know the syntax. You are right. For the project also, we should know the syntax. But the thing I am concentrating on is, I am just saying like, so for the project, you should syntax, but it's fine if you don't remember it. You need to go to the net and you are going, maybe you are searching for the syntax. It's fine. It's fine if you search and come to know, okay, you should write append to add an element to a list. Like it shouldn't be an add, you should write it as an append. So it's fine if you don't remember it, but yeah, you should know it. Okay, you have that capability in a list that you can append elements to it. So you should know that, but it's fine if you don't know the syntax. You can like search on the net and see what is the syntax basically. But obviously it's a good thing every time if you know the syntax already. So it's always good, but yeah, if you don't remember, it's fine. Yeah. Yara, I'll say that for that query. And yeah, Junior, you have any doubts? Okay, so what exactly is XOR? Okay, Junior, I'll ping you a link, and I think we'll have to go through that through some link or something. But yeah, okay, I'll give you a small example, Junior. Thanks for your question. So I'll just give you a small example of how XOR works. So yeah, so let's try to understand that. Otherwise, Yara, if this question and whatever I have explained, if that's clear for you, at Yara, so maybe you can ping me on YouTube and say okay or something, so that I understand you understand this question. So yeah, Junior, I'll be coming to your query now. So yeah, let's try to do XOR of 3 and 2. So how this works, let's try to understand. So yeah, we'll start with basic concepts of XOR. So I'll just go through this. I'll just write. So basically, Junior, so doing the XOR of 1 with 1. These are the basic XORs which we should remember so that we can execute the XOR of other numbers. So yeah, so okay, I'll be explaining some concepts for these. So yeah, let's try to understand. So the XOR of 1 and 1, as I said, so XOR of same numbers, the number with itself is basically 0. So as we know, the XOR of 0 with 0 will also come as 0. So these are some of the print statements, like some of the statements which you should know, which are very important so that we understand the concept of XOR. So yeah, so suppose if I do XOR of 1 with 0, that comes as, so I'll just write that comes as 1. And if I do XOR of 0 with 1, that also comes as 1. So yeah, I'll be just telling you, Junior, that we need to remember these four XORs. These are the basic ones which we should know, so that we can try to understand other complex XOR numbers. So yeah, I'll just execute this code so that you know the answers I have written, and I am also clear if I have written the right answers. So as you can see, the print for the first statement comes as 0. So the XOR of 1 with 1 is 0, 0 with 0 is 0, 1 with 0 is 1, and 0 with 1 is 1. So these are the basic ones which we should remember, and we should know these. Okay, and yeah, so let's try to, okay, so using these four statements, using these four XORs, let's try to come up with XOR of 3 and 2. Yeah, let's try to come up with XOR of 3 and 2. I'll try my best to make you understand this. So yeah, so 3, so as we all know, and if you guys don't know, so the numbers are converted to binary in the computers. So 3 gets converted. So what all numbers we write in our code, that basically gets converted in the computer to a binary. So basically, I'll just tell you for the time being, 3 gets converted to 1 1 in the computer. So every number in the computer gets converted to some binary form. So suppose there's a number like 34. It's getting converted to some combination of zeros and ones in the computer itself, some combination of 0 and 1. So yeah, 34 is also converted into some combination of zeros and ones in the computer. 2 gets converted to 1 0, 3 gets converted to 1 1, 34 gets converted to some combination. Let's not try to go to like what exactly the combination is. But for 3 and 2, we know the combination is, for 3 it's 1 1, for 2 it's 1 0. So this is for 3 and 2. Yeah. So let's try to do XOR of 3 and 2. So how basically this XOR gets executed. So yeah, so first we'll do the XOR of 1. That is the second number of 3. So I'll just highlight which one I'm saying, this one and this 0. So okay, I'll again highlight this 0. So let's try to do the XOR of this one with this 0. So that comes as, okay, yeah, so that comes as 1, because we know the XOR of 1 and 0 is 1. And let's try to do XOR for the first two things, that is this one, as I've highlighted in blue, and this one. So as we know, the XOR of 1 with 1 comes as 0. So we'll just write it here. It's 0 and 1. So the resultant XOR of 3 and 2 comes as the XOR of every digit, corresponding digit of both the numbers. So it's 1, I will do the XOR of the last 1 and the last 0 and 2. That comes as 1. And then I do XOR of this one with this one, that comes as 0. So, and this is the binary answer. So the answer comes as, so these two digits are the representation of 1. So we write 1 in the computer, 1 gets converted to 0, 1. So basically the answer of 3s or 2 should come as 0, 1. That is basically 1, as you can see from the screen. So if I'll try to suppose execute all these statements, the last print should come as 1. So basically the XOR of 3 and 2 comes as 1. How it's getting calculated? The XOR of corresponding digits of the binary conversion of 3 and 2 are done XOR with each other. So 1 gets XOR with 0 and the answer comes as 1. For 3 also, the XOR of 1 is done with 1. And the answer comes as 0. So ultimately, the answer of XOR 3 XOR 2 is 0, 1 in binary, which is 1 in decimal representation. So the answer of 3 XOR 2 comes as 1. So I'm not sure if it is clear for you. Maybe you can ping me. I think everyone will understand XOR by explaining its truth table. Yeah, Zara. Yeah, Yara, you are absolutely right. It's easy to do through a truth table. So yeah, I'll maybe it's basically check if two inputs are different. Yeah, Zara, Yara, you are right. You're saying it right. If any two inputs are different, the output comes as 1. Yeah, if they are same, then you'll get a 0. Yeah, Yara, you are completely right. I agree with you. Junep, is it a bit clear? Okay, okay. I hope you got it. Even if you didn't, you just ping me on Slack so that I'll tell you even better. So I just tried a basic one, how I could try to explain you. So if it's great if you got it. So yeah, we'll move on to the next concept. I'll just take 1 second of your time. I'll just come up in a minute. Uh, yeah, I'll just stop the screen sharing. I'll just start in a minute. Yeah, thank you for waiting. So yeah, we'll continue with our session. So I'll try to rush because it's been some time for all of us, and I'll try so that we can easily finish the main concepts which I wanted to tell you. So whosoever got the question, like how you find the number which is getting repeated more than twice. So I think that question was important, and if you guys got the answer or understood that, that will be really amazing for me. Thanks for that. And yeah, so yeah, let's try to brush some other concepts. So yeah, I wanted to tell you, like in the content you can see why so they are saying like 0.0 point, so addition of 0.13 times doesn't come as zero point 0.3 at the end. And so what is the reason why it doesn't comes equal to zero point 0.3? So I want you guys to go through this, maybe try to debug it, why it's not equal to zero point 0.3 when it's 0.3 for us, but why computer doesn't consider adding 0.13 times to be equal to 0.3. So yeah, that's a thing which I want you guys to see, and if you're not able to debug, you can just ping me. I wanted to go through, but yeah, because of shortage of time, let's not go through that. So one of the other concepts which I'll tell you, so that'll be good for you. I think I'll just take 2-3 minutes for that. So that is what I have learned in the software industries. Very basic thing, but very good for code readability and other things for the concept. So yeah, I hope Zor thing is clear for Junior Pew, and other question of things getting repeated more than twice and how to understand how that number comes up. So I think we have understood that question. So yeah, the next thing I'll go through is just if and else, as we know. So suppose I have some statements which return out to be true or false. So yeah, let's try to do this. If one, let's try to understand what the answer of this comes as. So suppose if, so I'll just write I am true. Only if the statement which is written after if that returns true to us, only then we should see this print statement. Otherwise, if one is considered as false, we shouldn't print this statement. I think as you guys may be knowing the conditionals still now. So yeah, so if one and the, so whatever statement comes after if that statement gets converted to true, then only we should see this print statement or this print happening on the screen. So yeah, let's try to execute this. Okay, so I am true is coming up. So that means is considered as true, which is strange. So this is not straightforward. So I'll tell you, like, suppose if I write as 5 greater than 3. So we all know this is true. So for this, so suppose if I just copy paste this print statement, I comment out this part, I again run the code. We all know 5 is greater than 3. So yeah, I am true should execute, and I am true is showing up on the console. So yeah, so this works. This we know it should be true. But I wanted to tell you one is also considered as true in Python. So even if I'll write just if one and I'll try to execute, I am true shows up. So this is one of the concept I wanted to tell you. If suppose if I don't have one, I have 0 here, and I try to execute the same statement. I don't see any print. So as you can see, I have executed this, but I just got the prompt again, and there was no output from this program. So basically, it means 0 is considered as false. And if false, as I told you, if the statement after if is true, only then the print statement is executed. So 0 is considered as false in Python. Every other number except 0 is considered as true. So if I'll write if 2 print, so okay, for the timing, I'll just write it as 2. And if I try to execute this, we should see 2. So every number except 0 is considered as true, and 0 is considered as false. So for 0, print is not showing up. For 2, 1, or any other number, print will show up. And I even think for -2. Let's try to execute. I think that should also. So yeah, for even -2, print is getting executed. So -2 is also true. So only 0 is false. Otherwise, all the things are true. So are you guys clear on this? Do you have any doubts? Can you just ping with okay something on YouTube? Or Junior, you can tell me over voice. Is this fine till now? Anyone who can tell me? Like, if you have any doubts, just tell me on YouTube or through voice if you have joined the Hangout call. Okay, I hope there is no doubt. I think so. Yeah, let's move further. I hope it's clear for you guys. Okay, no problem. Thanks, Junior. I think Yara, it's clear for you also. So I hope it's clear. Let's move forward. Okay. Yeah, so let's try to move forward. Thanks if you have understood this. I'll try to be a bit slow now also, so that you guys are able to understand, and please ping me for doubts. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, I'm saying generally also people write like 5 greater than 3 equal to true. So that also works. So basically, if whatever is written after if that returns as true, so the statement written inside if, so that is suppose print true, that gets executed. So as we know, 5 is greater than 3. This will return true only, and true is equal to true. So print true would be so we'll see this print statement getting executed. Okay, I was not able to see it. So let's try to understand why there was no print statement coming up here. Okay, let's try to execute this in brackets. Or if any one of you knows like why this is happening, to ping me. Okay, it's not coming as so the print is not happening. Let's try to understand what could be the problem here. Hmm. Yeah, it should print true, I think, according to me. So any of one of you can see the problem, you guys can ping me so that I can know. Okay, yes, it's clear. Okay, thank you, Yara. Thank you. If the previous things are clear, let's try to understand why this is coming as not true. So yeah, 5 greater than 3 should return true, and true is equal to true. So yeah, I think I am writing it the wrong way. Okay, let's try this. Let's try to execute. Why it's happening? Okay, this is not coming as this. Am I doing something wrong? Okay, so false is not defined. Yeah, I know that. So yeah, so you can't compare Boolean with a Boolean. Okay, so yeah, let's try to execute. Let's try to print. Let's try to print 5 greater than 3. Let's see what does it print. Okay, it prints true. So if it prints true, that means 5 greater than 3 is basically true. So we are not able to compare it with true itself. So yeah, this will be a thing which we should try on our own. Like, and this could be like, it's good if we know that this doesn't work. So yeah, I wanted to share this. Like, this way you can't uh, try to compare things. So as you can see, we are just having the print statement 5 greater than 3 here, but there is no answer for this statement. So yeah, you can't compare two basically booleans or something. So yeah, we'll go through this also. I'll also try to share more resources on how to read it and what to do. So yeah, I'll share those resources, but I want you guys to know, like, this is not executing this statement. So yeah, that is the concept which I wanted to tell here. So yeah, mostly these things are done. Other things which I want to go through is, let's try to execute print of 0. Yeah, so let's try to execute. So what if I want to write something like AIP and D rocks? Okay, and so suppose I try to print this. Let's comment the other things. Yeah, and let's try to print this. Okay, so as we can see the print statement, obviously. Suppose I want rocks to come in double quotes. So this way we can't print. It doesn't, so suppose I want the rocks to be surrounded by double quotes. Let's try to execute this. So the error is showing, so it's showing it's an invalid syntax. So we understand that because when I'll use double quotes again, so if I've started the string with double quotes, then I try to use double quotes again. So what happens is it thinks that, okay, the string has finished. So it thinks, what is rocks? Rocks is no variable, nothing is defined as rocks, so it gets confused. It thinks this is not a part of string. And then it thinks, okay, the exclamation is also a string because it's surrounded by double quotes. So the error happens here. So how can we try to remove this error? How can we try, okay, rocks should come in double quotes in the print statement. As you can see, here it's not coming as in double quotes. We want this rocks to be surrounded by double quotes when we print it on the screen. So how we can try to solve this problem? Let's try to go through some other print statements. So suppose I write, okay, so suppose I write, thanks for joining the webinar. So I thank you, both of you, for joining the webinar. So yeah, through code, I'm thanking you. So yeah, let's try to execute this statement. Yeah, thanks for joining the webinar. We can see that. So it means with single quotes also, we can write strings. It's not generally double quotes, but we can write strings using single quotes. So suppose if I, so let's comment this line. As you have, as you know, we can write strings using single quotes. Let's try to comment this, and let's try to surround this string with single quotes, the whole string. So let's try to understand, can it solve the problem? So as you can see, the color has also changed. So if we want to use double quotes in a string, we should surround the whole string with single quotes. So that's how we can get rocks in double quotes in the print statement. So I'll repeat again. So we can surround a string with double quotes also. We can surround a string with single quotes also. If we are using double quotes in the string, so in any part of the string we are using double quotes, we should surround the whole string with single quotes. So yeah, we'll try to execute this, and we should see rocks coming in double quotes. So this is how we solve that problem. And vice versa, suppose I want the same statement, but I want rocks to come as surrounded in single quotes. So again, as you can see, we are again facing the same problem which we faced using double quotes. So if suppose I surround the whole string with single quotes, but I also want rocks to be surrounded with single quotes itself, this won't work. So for that type of case, I can use double quotes to surround the whole string, like the vice versa thing of the print statement written on line 62. The vice versa I can do. So suppose I want rocks to be in single quotes, I can surround the whole string in double quotes, and that way I'll get the rocks in single quotes in the next statement, as you can see. So yeah, this is one of the concepts I wanted to tell. So this is a bit different than that. So you can again just ping me okay if you have no problems. You can ping me on Slack. Oh, sorry, Slack, I'm saying YouTube. Whosoever is online, you can ping me with okay or something if it's clear. Okay, I hope it's clear for you guys. So I'll wait for the ping for just a minute more. Okay, Yara. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your for telling me that. So yeah, so this concept is what I wanted to tell you. So yeah, the next concept. Let's go on to some other concepts. As Yara, you were saying you want to revise our structure, so we'll be going to that very soon. So I'll tell you those things. One more thing I'll discuss about string, then we'll go to Dart structures. So thanks, Yara, for telling everything is going good. So yeah, let's try to think on the formatting. Let's try to think on how do we format variables into strings. So let's try to understand. Suppose I have a variable named as let's write something as red. So I'll just write so not even red. I'll just write color I like. Okay, that works. So I like some color. Okay, so suppose I have this statement. Okay, I'll rather print the statement, and I'll not write it like this. I'll just rather print it. Like I write a color. I think if you have gone through this lesson, we should be able to format any variable into this format string. So for the timing, I'll just write red, and we can format this. We can format red into this string. So how does this work? So I'll tell you some examples so that you are clear. So the red, whatever we'll pass in this format string, it comes in the first bracket. So it'll come here. So the statement would result as I like red color. So that should come as the answer of the print statement. So let's try to execute that. So yeah, as we can see, we can see this I like red color is coming up. So yeah, that works for format. So some other case which I want to tell you, suppose I have two variables. So not variables, like I want to write something like I like this and this color. So yeah, so suppose I try to dot format and I write something like red, comma, blue. So I'll suppose I try to write that. So what happens is the first variable or the whatever value is used comes in the first bracket. The second value which is used, that is blue, comes in the second bracket. So this way we can format things. So I'm just telling you so that I can tell you one another thing which is based on this syntax and which is easier. So I'll tell you that later. So let's try to execute this, and I think we get the answer as I like red and blue color. So the things are working fine till now. I think I like, so in the first bracket I am getting red, in the second bracket I am getting blue. So this way we can print things. Okay, and yeah, so okay, so yeah, so this way we can do this formatting. Then the next thing which I want to tell you, suppose I have a color variable in which I can store red, use that same thing in the format string. So I can just write print as, and I can here instead of writing red, I can write the variable name in the format type. Let's try to execute how this happens. So yeah, so the next print statement you can see, it comes as I like red color. So what did I do? I just made a variable named color. I initialized it with a value red, and I used the variable name in the format string, and I was able to get the answer as I like whatever the value of color is. So if suppose I do blue here and I change the value, so it will automatically come as I like blue color. That is the third print statement we see. So yeah, this is one of the things which I wanted to tell you. Like if I write blue, and that formats it, the whatever the value of the variable is, that formats it into the string in this bracket, and we see I like blue color. So the concept, now let's come up to the concept which I really want to tell. So yeah, let's try to execute this. So I want to tell you one thing in which I can again format things. So I can surround the string with something known as just F. So with the alphabet F, I can surround the string. And let's have this variable. So color is there. So I'll write I like, and in the bracket itself, I can write color. That is the name of the variable, and then the string. So this color is part of a string. As you can see, it's written in blue, sorry, orange, and it comes in the string. So this is the string part, and this is the variable part. So to be extra clear, let's change the name of the variable. Let's write it as color variable. So I'm saying here I'm writing the variable name, and other part of the string is as string, and I can surround the string with the alphabet F so that I can directly write the name. So that I can directly write the name of the color variable here itself, and I don't have to write it in format. I don't have to write something like dot format color variable in this statement, in the 72 word statement. I can just write the name of the variable inside the bracket in this statement itself if I surround the string with the letter F. So that is what I wanted to tell you. So this way also I can get the same result. So as you can see, I can see I like blue color for the second statement also. So basically, this is one more way of formatting a variable to a string. So I can surround the string with the F letter, and I can write the name of the variable inside the brackets, and this works. So this statement, we don't need to write dot format color variable. We can just write it inside the print statement only. We can write the variable. So yeah, that's the concept which I wanted to tell you. Is it clear, or I should repeat, Yara? Just ping me on YouTube. Hmm. Okay, I'm waiting for the ping. Okay. I hope it's clear. I'll just move forward. I assume it's clear. I can't see the ping. Okay, does it work for all data type? Thank you, Yara, for the question. So, yeah, let's try to think this. Yeah, for all the variables. Okay, so yeah, for so I'll just tell you this. Let's try to do it for a int. So let's try to see. Okay, it's working. Let's try to see for a float. Yeah, I think it will work for this also. So yeah, we can try this way. Okay, so we can try writing, like we can try executing it with different data types. Let's try to do it with a string. Let's try to write red on a blue, and so that's also like that's a data structure, anyways. But yeah, let's. I think that should also work. So yeah, it works for every data structure. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Yara, I'll move on to data structures. Let's try to handle. Let's do that. I'll just write on the chat also. So let's do data structures. So yeah, this will be interesting for both of us. Let's try to do some data structures. I'll just go through some of the data structures and I'll help you how to iterate through them and how to revise those concepts. So yeah, let's try to go through the data structure part. Let's try with lists. So I'll just tell you some basics so that it's easy for you to revise. So let's have the list as this 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's try to iterate over the list. So this is how you iterate. So I'll just write element in L and I can print all the elements of the list like this. So I can print the elements of the list like this. Yeah, so as you can see on the screen, I get the elements as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, suppose I want every element to be divided by. So yeah, so let's understand this concept. This concept is very good. So let's try to print element divided by 2. So let's try to print all elements divided by 2 and let's see what the result is. So I just added divide by 2. Let's try to execute. So the answer is 0.5 for 1, as we know. For 2 it's 1, for 3 it's 1.5, for 4 it's 2, sorry. So yeah, as you can see, we can divide each element by iterating over all the elements and we can print what the value is. But the thing is, never think that the original list is changed. So the original list, suppose I'm doing this print, but then again I print the list, we should be very clear that the original list remains the same. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just that this print statement like divides it one by one and just prints the value, but it doesn't affect the list, the value of the list. If you want the list to be like changed or something like that, so there are some concepts like map. We can use map for that. Yeah, so we can try using map for that, and also we can try using other things. So I'll just help you go through one of the concepts which is known as list comprehensions. So this is one of the concepts which is very important. So let's try to go over list comprehension. Let's try to change the list and save it in the same variable name. So yeah, so let's try to iterate over the list and try to make the element half. So I'll do element half for element in L. So then let's try to print the new list. So I'll just maybe I'll just comment these things so that we understand what was the list initially and what is the list after doing all the elements, after dividing elements by half and making a new list from that and saving it to the original L variable. So let's try to execute. So these are list comprehensions. It works the same way as loops work, like for element in L. As you can see, it's there in the loop the same way. Then I'll do element by 2 the same way I did in print. So I'll make a new list which will have all the elements of the original list divided by half, and I'll store that list into L. So this way, these are known as list comprehensions. We divide every element by 2 and store it in a new list and whatever, assign this new list to the original variable name and print that new list. So yeah, let's try to go through this. So as you can see, we have the new list as 0.5, 1, 0.5, and 2. So that means we are able to change the list. We divide every element by 2. We make a new list and we assign that new list of halves to this L variable, or maybe I can say L halves, and I can print L halves here. So yeah, so these are known as, this concept is known as list comprehensions. So yeah, that is one of the concepts. And initially, as I said, even if you do just normal print, you won't be changing the original list. The original list would still be 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. But when you use using list comprehension, you assign that new list back into the list have variable name, then only you'll change the list. So as I said, even if I'll keep the name as L as it was initially for the variable, I have changed that variable value, and as you can see, the list is coming as halves of all the elements of the list. So yeah, this is for the list, I think, which I wanted to go through. Any doubts? Just ping me on YouTube. I'll just try to wrap up all the things in the next 5 to 10 minutes so that you can continue with your nano degree. Oh, thank you, Yaro. Thanks a lot that you are understanding the things. And I hope I am not going that fast. So thank you for joining. And yeah, let's go to other concepts of data structures. Thank you for telling me that you have no doubts and it's all fine. So I'll just go through tuples. I'll just write it as, so how, as you can see in the course also, so suppose I have something, so I can write tuples as, so suppose I'll just write tuple 1, and I'll just have it as anything like your AIPND or something like that. So I'll have tuple 1 here, and so I can, as you know, I can assess the values of tuple like this. Okay, sorry, like this. And like this, so I can execute that and I can print those things. So I'll try to execute. Okay, so there's some problem. Let's see. Let's try to debug. First, I'll just try to comment these things so that they don't affect. Okay, so all the things are commented. Let's try to think on what was the problem. Okay, so type object is not subscriptable. Okay, that works. So if I do something like this, can I execute this? Okay, I'm seeing some errors. So yeah, let's try to debug. Okay. So if you know any problem which you think I have in this code, you can also ping me, and I'll see how you are doing it. So yeah, so for the time being, we can do it like tuple. So I'll just write that as, so I can write that as name and a degree. So yeah, let's try to execute that. I hope that should work. Yeah, let's try to execute. Okay, so I'm able to see that. So this is basically a tuple. So if I assign these values to two variables, I can, so it correspondingly assigns first variable to the first variable name and second value to the second variable name. So yeah, I hope okay, so yeah, this way I can execute I can assign the first value to the first variable name and the second value to the second variable name, and I can print those values on the screen. The same way I can do it without these parentheses. So I can again write it as, and then I can again print the same thing. So this should also work. So it's not important that we have the parentheses. So without parentheses also that works. As you can see, we can see Yara and IAPND, your name and degree for your course 2 times. So it's fine. Tuples, basically it can work this way, or one more thing, one more way in which it can work is, so I'll just tell you a small example like uh, Veracity, AIPND, and maybe a session which is 983. So I can store all these values in A, and then I can try to try to see like in which variable I want to have the Audacity, and in which variable I want the AI PND to be there, and the same for 983 session number. So I'll just write it as course, and then I'll write it as session, and I should write it as A. So let's try to let's just try to run so that I think no errors are there. So it works. So it means it has worked fine. And I'll just try to execute it as platform, course, and then session. Let's try to execute. Okay, so as you can see, we can see that Audacity, AIPND, and 983. So yeah, so if so, we can also try to like unwrap the tuple from A and store all the values of variables in platform, course, session, and we can print that also. So these are some of the ways in which we can deal with the tuple. And other things, we can assign those values to variables, and through tuple only we can do that. Also, I think this should work if I surround it with parentheses. No problems should come up. So yeah, it works the same way. So parenthesis is optional, as I told. So yeah, I think that's it for tuples. Maybe we can't use index in tuples. Yeah, Yara, I think so. But yeah, let's try to see that through some code only. So I'll just take a minute. Yeah, so yeah, I've seen that. I think these should work. I don't know why it didn't work. The index part, I'll see the example from Udacity itself, and I'll try to execute that code. So yeah, I'll just share my screen again. Okay, I think I'm sharing my screen. So yeah, so I've got this example from Audacity itself, and I think the index thing should work. I don't know why it's not working. Let's try to execute again. Okay, so this time it worked. I think we are. I don't know what wrong did we do. So yeah, I think we wrote it as. Yeah, I'll try it again because it should work. Yeah, let's try to execute this. Yeah, it's coming up. So I don't know. There must be some small typo which I must have done initially. I think now it should work. So yeah, there could be some other typo which I did. So that's why I went again to the course and saw it. But yeah, so we can use index. I'll just write on the text also. So it was some typo from my side. You can see, you can also try to run it on your own. And I hope this doesn't make a difference. If we just remove this, this shouldn't make a difference. Yeah, it's not making a difference. So yeah, there must be some other typo which I must have done initially. So yeah, we'll, so we can assess it with index. I hope things are clear for tuples. Let's move on to next thing, which is dictionary. For dictionary, I'll just go to 2, 3 things which I think are very important for we all to know. And yeah, so I'll just go through dictionary and I'll tell you what all is important there. So yeah, in dictionary, I'll just okay. Yeah, I'll just go through 1 or 2 of the main concepts which I have. Those are how to iterate over a dictionary. So suppose I have any keys in a dictionary. How do I iterate over the dictionary? I just go for key comma value in okay, I can't use this variable because it's a keyword for Python. So I'll just use it as d comma random. So this is a random dictionary I'll be using. So I'll just go as d underscore random. Sorry, so how do I iterate? I need to have dot items function which I'll apply to the dictionary so that I get key and value. For each pair, I'll get key and value. I can iterate over each pair. So suppose if I print key comma value, so initially it will print for the first pair, which is ERE and 4, and the items for the next iteration, the values those will be like printed would be ERW and 7. So yeah, so I'll iterate over the dictionary. I'll first get ERE and 4 the first time. I'll print that. Then I'll get ERW and 7, and then I'll print that onto the screen. So as you can see, if I execute, I get ERE4 and ERW7. So this is how we iterate over dictionaries. So that is the basic one, how to iterate over key and value. Suppose I just want to iterate over key. So how will I do that? I'll just write random dot keys. I'll just iterate over the keys. Suppose I print it for you guys. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'll just print this key. And okay, so d random, that is again a typo, which I keep on doing many of the time. So yeah, if we don't do the typo, we'll get ERE and ERW. For this, that those are just the keys of the dictionary. That is ERE this and ERE W. How to assess values for any key? You can just write it as random, and you can just write the name of the key like ERE. Suppose I print it, I should get the value as 4. I'll just comment others for you to understand. I'll execute and I get 4. So this is how you assess any key of a dictionary. You can just write the key value in the array, in the index type of the dictionary. So if I write ERW, I should get the answer as 7. And as you can see, I get the answer as 7. So yeah, I can assess any element of a dictionary, any key of a dictionary, like the value of a dictionary through its key. I can write the key in the index part of the dictionary and I can get the value corresponding to that key. Otherwise, as you all know, we can see the keys from this for loop or the key and values using this for loop. So yeah, so the same way I can iterate over the values. Suppose I don't want to see the keys, I can just iterate over all the values. So I'll just write here val, and here also I can write values. So this will iterate over all the values of the dictionary. I can print it. So as you see at the end, I get 4 and 7. Those are just the values of all the elements of the dictionary. So this way I can iterate over the values. And one more iteration, which I'll just tell you so that you know it. So by default also, if I don't write keys, values, or items at the end of a dictionary like this, this, or this, by default it iterates over the keys. So if I just write random that is our dictionary. And if I just print whatever I get in the key, by default it iterates over the key. So I'll just write this is basically d dot random dot keys. This internally gets converted to this only. So by default it iterate over the keys if I write it like this, and just the keys would be printed. So if I comment all the other code for you guys, so it's easy for us to just see the print. So these are just the keys that are coming up in the print statement. So yeah, by default, if we iterate over a dictionary, those are just the keys which we get, and we can print the keys. So yeah, I think that's it for the dictionaries. You can ping me on YouTube again if it's all fine for you, Yara or Junior. If any problems are there, do tell me. So yeah, I'll be waiting on the YouTube chat only. So if there are any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, thanks, Yara. Thanks a lot. So for telling that. Yeah, so dictionary are also done. I think we know how to iterate over key values, just the keys, just the values, and maybe just the keys, which is by default the random thing. So yeah, for dictionaries also we are done. Tuples we are done. Sets, I'll go through sets once. That'll be a last topic for today. I think it went okay, the whole webinar. Initially, there were some glitches, but I'll be careful from the next time, and I'll myself trial run it before the webinar from the next time. And yeah, let's go to sets. Basically, I'll just tell you what sets are. So these are like lists, but we can initialize it with curly brackets. We can write red, we can write blue, and we can again write blue. So let's try to print this set. Let's try to print a. Let's try to execute the code, and we get as red blue. So the thing is, in a set, we can see that if even if we had two blue and one red, still the print statement is coming as red and blue. So that means our second variable, which is blue, is not coming up. The second blue which we are using is not coming up in the print statement. So why is this happening? Why there's just one red and one blue coming up in the answer which we see on the screen? So this is because sets don't allow duplicate elements. So even if I write one more blue, it will eliminate one like two of the blues and just keep one of them so that we have just the unique elements in a set. As you can see, we can just have red blue is the answer for this set. So as we can see, there are three blues which we have written, but in the print we can just get as red and blue. So I think that's the main concept of sets, and only the unique elements would be there. So yeah, some of the differences I'll tell you, which are very important for you guys to know, and are very important in the maybe in I would say in interview type of perspective. So I'll just tell you that also. So yeah, let's try to have three things. First would be a list. I'll just, for the timing, as you know, the main concept of set is we can't have duplicate elements in it. Even if I initialize a set with duplicate elements, like three blues in this case, it'll automatically eliminate two of the blues and just print and just have one red and one blue at the end, because those are the two unique elements. So the important concept which I'll come to is this. Let's have one list which will have red, blue, and maybe one more which is green. Let's have a set which will have the same ones. So yeah, I'll tell you one important concept at the end. So this will be very important, and one dictionary. So dictionary also we initialize with curly brackets, but I can have some values in dictionary. So I'll have one for red, two for blue, and let's ignore the green one so that we can save some time. And I'll just print if I have anything as red in list. The same way I'll try to print if I have anything as red in our set, and I'll try to print if we have anything as red in dictionary. So for list, I know, okay, there's one list, there are some elements. If red is there, I should print true for this. So this should come as true because red is there in the list. For set also, red is present in the list. So this should also return true. But in a dictionary, so how do we know what things we check if I have red in D? Do we check the keys or we check the values? So suppose I have red here also. So, and I don't have, okay, I'll tell you that later. So suppose I have red in the value also. So which red I am referring to here? If I write red in D, which things do I check for the red value in the dictionary? Are these keys which I check, or these are the values in which I check if the red is present in the values, or if I check red is present in the keys? So I'll just tell you that we check the keys by default as we saw in the loop. So we take red in the keys by default. And if I have, so I'll remove this comment. If I have red in D dot values, only then we check if red is present in the values part, that is in one or in this red. So I'll tell you that later on perfectly through changing this dictionary a bit. So yeah, I check red in the list initially, that should return true. In set, it should return true. In D, that basically checks the keys in which red is there, so it should return true. Then I check red in D dot values, so that basically checks only the values of the dictionary. So I'll tell you some more examples to be very clear on this thing. So let's try to execute, and we are seeing all coming as true, which should come as true because red is there in the values itself, red is there in the keys itself for the dictionary. So all the things should come as true. So I'll just tell you one very important thing. So let's try to understand this thing. Let's have green here. So as you know, we are checking in the keys by default here. So it should come as false. And for the second one, it should come as true. So yeah, let's try to execute this. As you can see, the third one is false and the first one is, the last one is true because red is not there now in the keys of the dictionary. So yeah, that comes as false. The fourth one comes as true. And suppose if I even remove red from here and if I have some random string, the last two statements come as false. So this is one of the concepts. The other concept which I really want to pinpoint is checking red in list is slow. Checking red in set is faster than checking in list. Checking red in keys is also faster. So it's comparable to the time which we take of checking red in the set. And checking red in the values of the dictionary is again slow. So let's try to understand why these things are like this. So suppose I check red in list, how it happens. So let's try to understand this. So yeah, let's try to understand this. How checking a variable in, so any value in list is slow, and checking any value in set is faster. So these list, for this, suppose I need to check red. So let's make this as green. This is red. So internally, how it checks is it goes to the first element. It checks if this is equal to red. This is not. It goes further. It checks if blue is equal to red, which is again not. And then it checks red. Okay, it sees it's the red is there. Then it outputs true. So this happens for list. For sets, what happens, as I discussed on the group also, so you guys should go through my answer of hashing and how sets work. So yeah, so in this case also, as we have a technique known as hashing, which is there at the internal part of Python. So hashing is used. So when I see red in a set, due to the use of hashing, we directly know it that red is there. So even if I'll have green here and I have red at the back, this suppose takes 3 steps to know. So I'll just write for you guys 3 steps to know. if red is there, because it's present at the third position. Even in set, it's present at the third position, but still it takes just one step for set to know. So for set to know if red is in the set. So it takes just one step for the set to know because of a technique known as hashing. So the thing, so if we are checking red in a set, that's faster. So suppose if the set has 100 elements and the list also has 100 elements. So to check it in the list, it may take you 100 steps if the red is at the end of the list. But for set, even if red is at the end of the list, because of hashing, it takes you just one or maybe some small steps, not 100 steps, very less than that, so that we know that okay, red is there in the set. So this is achieved because of technique known as hashing. So you can read it, and also on the Slack group we had made a discussion on hashing, so you can go through that. And because of that, it's faster to have sets and execute on sets. For dictionary also, we use hashing for the keys. So that's why, as I said, if we check red in the keys, it's faster because by default we check in the keys. For values, there's no hashing technique. It's normally like a list. So that's why it's slow for the values part of the dictionary. If we check red is there in the values, it's again slow because the values part, because this thing d dot values acts as a list and we are checking it as red is in some list, which we know through the first example is slow. So yeah, this will also be slow, a bit slow than other techniques. So yeah, that's about dictionaries and the important concepts I think we have in dictionaries. Is that clear, Yara and yeah, Junior? Anyone who wants to tell me? Any doubts you have? I'll wait for the ping. Okay, okay, Yara. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So these were very important concepts. If these are clear, like I think you have made it to a good point, to a good progress, that it's very clear for you how these things are slow or fast or hashing or tuples, how to use indexes, how to use other things. I think it's very good that you joined the call or the webinar, and I think it must have helped you a lot. These are very important concepts in interview perspective also, or the Zohar question which we did in the start. You can go through that question again if you want. So these are very important, and I think we did well in this webinar. Initially, there were some problems, but yeah, I'll try to be more careful from the next time. And I think that's it for this webinar. Any doubts you have, Yara? You can tell me on chat. I'll try to clear those. Junior, if you have any doubts, you can ask me on the chat or by voice. Okay, okay. Thank you, Yara. That means a lot for me. I thought I may have rushed up in between, but yeah, I tried my best, and I saw all the good concepts which I thought I should tell you, and I think that's it from my side. Thanks if you don't have any doubts. Thank you so much for joining. It was very good that you motivated me to have this webinar and you joined it. And thanks a lot. Like you joined it, only then I was able to give it. Thank you. And we'll be talking soon in the next virtual call. Yeah. Thank you from my side. Thank you, Junior, also, if you are online. Thanks a lot for joining. If you have any doubts, do ping me on Slack or ask me now. Thank you for joining the webinar, Junior. Yeah. Okay, I think then we'll meet soon. I'll be calling you also, Junior, soon the next week, and Yara, you too. Okay, thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you.